Hi, I'm Eleanor and welcome to MotorMatters and our first full test car for 2025, just to get that in for you quickly. Suzuki Swift, it's the latest generation which was launched late last year, and a lot of similarities, a lot of same, but a lot of different as well. In the range, they've now got 5 models, 3 manual, 2 automatic, and we're going to talk a lot about that automatic fact, which we've got right here. This is the automatic. You can only get automatic in GL Plus and GLX spec, whereas the entry-level GL is manual only. But those are choices you're going to make, not me. The front end, the blacked-out grille is new, and there's a little bit of a change to the bumper. And the headlights are very, very different. Now, a very big and the first important difference between GL Plus and GLX. These are halogen projection headlights. GLX gets LED projection plus daytime running lights plus fog lights, which you don't get on this one. Now, stronger headlights could be an advantage. Let's see what we think during the test. But just pointing out differences to you while we're busy. 15-inch wheels, 14s on the GL, 15 on GL Plus and GLX. You get this alloy over here. You get a polished alloy on GLX. I'm pointing out differences while we're looking at the cars because it's going to make a difference to you which one you want at the end of the day and what features you want that differ between GL Plus and GLX. A very big difference, and one that I would like to have, is there's no button to open the door. You have to use an old-fashioned key with a little button on it like that for central locking, which then locks or unlocks the car. Whereas on GLX, you've got a little button over there. Press, opens, unlocks the car, and of course push button for start. Those depend on you. A big design difference on the new generation is on previous generation, your back door had the handle up here in the C-pillar. They've now gone back to a traditional, can I call it, handle for the back door as well. And it's up to you whether you think it's more practical or whatever, but a choice you make. A nice feature on some of the Suzukis, and I've noticed on this one as well, is you notice that the back door opens to pretty much 90 degrees. A lot of cars only open to about there, and that makes a difference to your ease of getting in and out of the back. Quite important. Now, the driver's seat is set for me, as you know I always do, so I've got absolutely no complaints about legroom, lots of space for me, and the headroom's decent as well, even with my hat on. No air vents, and I think maybe it's time they put a USB at the back over here for rear seat passengers. You want to sell it to families, young families, etc., they're going to want another USB at the back. But I think it'll come in time as they do, but it's a very small point. Come round to the rear. Again, the change on the tail lamps on the new generation, very different to the previous, and that's really all there is. Pop open the boot. Suzuki quotes a figure of 265 litres, which is a fair size. Very high loading lip, you can see over there. And I'm being lazy and not taking the board out, but I'll tell you this is about a 1 1/4 Allen boot. Yeah, we're going to give it a 1 1/4 rating. Sorry folks, I didn't get all the way in today. Just feeling a touch lazier than some other days, but anyway. And under the board, you've got a space saver emergency spare wheel, which is fair enough, and I don't think anybody would complain. Close the tailgate over here. Let's just talk quickly. All the models in the range have got the same engine, and that's another very big change from the previous generation model, because that was a 4-cylinder engine. Now a 3-cylinder, still 1.2 litres, which is the same as it was. And on paper, you lose 1 kilowatt and 1 Newton meter from the 4-cylinder version. In other words, it's now 60 kilowatts and 112 Newton meters of torque. Driving the front wheels, either a 5-speed manual, or we've got a CVT automatic transmission in this case. Choices only you can make. And you will see in the video as I talk about that CVT while we're on the road. So let's see it on the road and let's take a look inside.
Taking an evening nighttime cruise in the new
new Swift just because we felt like it. And I've got to tell you that one of the features where the CVT has its negative is, I hope you heard that, I accelerated slightly on a bit of an uphill and the revs jump up and they're now sitting at 4,000 revs. And I think you can hear the inherent buzziness of a 3-cylinder engine. But when you take your foot off and you go back to cruising mode, what I love about it, and the CVT automatic that they've now put into the new generation, and this is where I believe it's one of the strengths, is a proper cruising speed on a level piece of road. At 120, you just over 2,000 revs, and that's making it a nice, pleasant cruiser, and it's relatively quiet. So it is a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde character, dual character, in the sense of when you put your foot down, yes, you get a bit of a scream, but it's only for a moment or two, and then when you lift off slightly, as you would do with an automatic of any kind, let alone a CVT, it just eases off slightly. The other big thing is the new generation definitely is a smoother, I'm going to even use the word slightly more refined ride. It's definitely that tiny bit more comfortable than the previous generation, which it's lost a touch of the very, very sportiness that I always loved on Swifts, but maybe it's just grown up a bit. How's that for a term? It's matured, just like me. But, you know, that's what I'm trying to say. Now, I've had the debate all along since I got the car the other day whether I'd want GL Plus or GLX spec and what the differences are. And one of the differences, I will double check and confirm, but I have read that the GLX gets LED headlights and daytime running lights. And personally, I'm inclined to say, you know me, safety, that a feature I would always want is more powerful, can I call them, headlights and lighting. And that could be one feature that already would make me contemplate moving upwards in the spec range. The fact that they both have 6 airbags is wonderful. Otherwise, on the previous generation, it was 2 versus 6, and that to me made it a no-brainer. But it's the kind of little things that you've got to think about and decide for yourself. But you know what? That's just which spec level. It's not about whether I can recommend the car or not. And I definitely feel I can. Jumping in behind the wheel, we have a look at the instrumentation over here. The very important fact is 5.6 liters per 100 kilometers for the test period. Not too bad at all. I'm quite happy with that. We've done a lot of urban driving as well, not as much freeway, although there is some freeway, but I think you get the point, and I don't think it's a bad figure at all. Now, GL Plus to GLX, there's another difference. On the GLX, you get a color screen, where as opposed to just the information here. And on this one, the very old-fashioned push stalks you've got to have to change the information over there. Can you see? It's telling me there's only 59 kilometers left in the tank. Oopsie. But anyway, I think you get the idea, and that is how it goes. You just press those, and they are rather old-fashioned, and I think I would like to see a more modern effect over there. But really, I don't think it's that important. On the wheel over here, you've got your normal buttons, and another difference to GLX is you get cruise control on GLX. Yeah, you heard me. Cruise control system, which would obviously be on that side of the steering wheel. And then the Suzuki system, which is also getting a bit old-fashioned, but it works where your phone connections are behind the steering wheel over there. Your headlights are not auto on or anything, but again, I don't think that's such a big deal. Come across to the touch screen, and here again, on GL Plus, you get a 7-inch touch screen. On GLX, you get a 9-inch. They both have a reverse camera. Works perfectly well. I'm quite satisfied with it, and it gives you all the functions. Another feature is it does have wireless Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, or I do prefer using a cable with the single USB over there, and I just feel it's a little bit better and more stable. So I do, but it is a wireless function as well. Over here, you've got your aircon system over here, which is a manual aircon. On GLX, it goes up to an automatic aircon system. So I think you've seen where I'm finding the differences and where I'm picking them up. I've mentioned the CVT automatic gearbox, And don't cringe at CVT, let me tell you. As I said on the road, this is really a good, usable, effective CVT gearbox. It suits this car to a T, and I really have enjoyed the gearbox on it. I've got to put it that way. One of the features I've got to mention, I mention often, is this button on the door over here where you lock the doors. It's not auto on pull-off. Suzuki, one day I hope you catch up on that one. It's really probably my biggest criticism of the whole lot. I know that sounds bad, doesn't it? But I've got to mention it. Okay, so it comes down to the fact of what is it going to cost me. Well, in GL Plus form, the CVT Auto is 260,000 Rand, 259,900. GLX with the extras I've mentioned, those headlights, the LED projection headlights, with the bigger screen, with the auto on, the auto aircon, and the other screen over there. Those are the main differences. You're looking at 25,000 Rand extra. It goes up to 285. They both get, and this is very important in my book, 6 airbags. So you can choose over there. It's really up to you what you want, what you desire, and what you feel is necessary. But I know where I would go. That's all I'm going to say. On both of them, you get a 2-year, 30,000 kilometer service plan and Suzuki's 5-year, 200,000 kilometer warranty. Well, Swift is a legend, and it's a legend for good reason. And the new generation, as far as I'm concerned, with that smoother, more comfortable, more relaxed, grown-up ride, is a major step forward as well, as far as I'm concerned. So it has progressed with the new generation, which is also always an important factor that you want to know about. Overall, I can tell you that I give it a big, big thumbs up. But you've got to drive it and choose for yourself. For MotorMatters, I'm Eleanor. See you next time.